The UFC fight cards coming up towards the end of this year are already stacked beyond belief, but I feel as though there are still so many amazing fights left to make in 2021, so why not make today's video the top 10 greatest fights to make before the end of 2021. I know the cards towards the end of this year are amazing already, however, we've had some less than okay cards recently this year, so I feel like we should end the year with an absolute bang and have stacked card after stacked card after stacked card, one after the other. So this is the top 10 greatest fights left to make in 2021, and I'm going to slowly reveal these fights as we go through the video. Of course, 10 all the way to 1 and 2 are bigger fights than the rest of them in my opinion. I'll slowly reveal these white squares and go through every single fight that I've got to make before the end. Some big, some title elimination bouts, sometimes an entrance guy who's got a lot of hype behind him, including the first guy on my list, Paddy the Baddy Pimblett, I think should return before the end of the year. I know it said that he had a bit of a 6-month suspension, but I feel like that's not the case because he said he wants to come back in December or November, something like that, and that's his game plan so far. I'm really looking forward to it. I think he should keep that momentum and take on a perfect matchup. Now, this isn't going to be Mateusz Gamrot or Goran Kutateledze or some top guy that he's obviously probably going to lose to at this point in his career. Paddy Pimblett, I think, needs to take a little bit of a step up against Ignacio Bahamondes, another prospect on the rise. Let's clash these prospects together at the end of this year on a fight night card in December, on the feature fight of a fight night, maybe even the co-main event, because let's not forget Ignacio Bahamondes coming off that ridiculous wheel kick KO over Roosevelt Roberts not too long ago. I think we should really strike while the iron is hot and have Paddy Pimblett versus Ignacio Bahamondes in December on a fight night card. That's number 10 on this list. I'm going to skirt through some of these immediately because they're not as good as the other ones on this list. Once we start getting to 8 and upwards, we're getting to some really good fights. But number 9 is Kevin Lee, and this is a meme fight, okay? I'm just going to warn you guys with number 9 here. This can be made in December. This can be made at the end of the year. Kevin Lee wants this fight at the end of the year. Mike Perry versus Kevin Lee. Black on black violence. Like, this is what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? Kevin Lee, Mike Perry, the meme fight of the year, the underperformers of all underperformers in the UFC. Maybe we can chuck Darren Till in there as the referee as well, just to make it an underperforming exhibition match maybe. Kevin Lee, Mike Perry, great matchup in the welterweight division. They already tried calling each other out, but Mike Perry wanted a little bit more time before he signed a fight. He wanted to wait until the end of the year to get a little bit more of a training camp behind him and settle into a gym. I think this is the perfect matchup to make. They're both big names. We want to keep both of them, but you've kind of got to keep at least one of them. And if you put them both against individual other guys that could beat them, you could risk losing both Kevin Lee and Mike Perry in the same year. And that would be very, very detrimental, okay? So I feel like Kevin Lee, Mike Perry guarantees us a great matchup with a lot of hype behind it for sure, and at least guarantees us a winner that we can do something with in a division of the welterweight division. Kevin Lee, Mike Perry is number 9 on this list. Now let's get into some real dishy ones to make. 8 on the list of greatest fights to make, and these can all be put onto the cards in 2021. I feel like we could end this year with a bang. Here we go. Deiveson Figueiredo, I feel like, should be taking on a man by the name of Askarov in the flyweight division. I think this is an amazing matchup to make, and I am all for seeing it 100%. Deiveson Figueiredo, Askarov. Deiveson Figueiredo's already let loose that he wants to stay in the 125-pound division. He mentioned maybe moving up to the 135-pound division, but now he said kind of, you know what, I'm going to come back down to 125. He was the defending champion, and maybe if he gets one win in that division, he's all of a sudden in the mix again. Let's not forget, he's 0-1-1 with Brandon Moreno, and Brandon Moreno only got the fight in the first place because of the groin shot, but not only the groin shot, because the judges scored round 5 for Brandon Moreno. So let's just say Figueiredo clearly won, according to the judges themselves. I don't know how they scored round 5 for Brandon Moreno whatsoever, but Figueiredo still has a right to a title shot if he gets a win, and the best guy to put him against, in my opinion, is another guy with maybe a right to a title shot already, and another guy who struggles making weight. Deiveson Figueiredo, Askarov, great matchup in the flyweight division. Put it on the prelims of the pay-per-view card in December. The headliner of the prelims, Figueiredo, Askarov, with also Moreno and Pantoja, which is already on that card later this year. I feel like that would be a great fight to make, and I just want to see Figueiredo stay in the 125-pound division because it's his division. You made the weight before, make it again. You made it twice within 3 weeks. How can you not make it on a full camp? Maybe a healthier Deiveson Figueiredo has a better chance of making weight. That's number 8 on my list. Number 7 on the greatest fights to make left in 2021 is, and this is a good one, Mr. Dominic Cruz versus Sugar Sean O'Malley here. I'm going to go with amazingness. Okay, I was about to predict the fight for a second there. Maybe I should give some predictions. I think Paddy would win this one. I think that Kevin Lee would... fuck it, Mike Perry. Kevin Lee can't win shit. Deiveson Figueiredo, I think might guillotine Askarov. We'll see how that one goes. Then you've got Dominic Cruz, Sean O'Malley. I actually feel like O'Malley, this is his best matchup in the division. I think he can beat Dominic Cruz. He's got lethal leg kicks, and I think he could chew up the legs of Dominic Cruz. I think O'Malley is far better than Casey Kenny. And Cruz is just that little bit older now. So, Cruz, O'Malley, great matchup to make in the bantamweight division. I feel like this could open up the December pay-per-view card. What more do you want from me right now? I'm giving you just gems after gems here. I know Dominic Cruz turned down Marlon Vera, but fuck Dominic Cruz. You ain't going to get no top guys right now. You just aren't going to get them. They all have matchups coming up. Unless you're going to look for maybe a Corey Sandhagen matchup, that could be a potential one. Dominic Cruz, Sean O'Malley. Let's get Sean O'Malley a good ranked opponent. And let's just let it be Dominic Cruz because that is great. Dominic Cruz, Sean O'Malley, opening up the pay-per-view card in December. I don't know what more I would ask for. And it's not just like I feel like if it's not Dominic Cruz, O'Malley's just going to pick Brian Kelleher. Like, that's the drop-off in the next level of opponent that there is, if not Dominic Cruz. And I don't like that in any way whatsoever. Moving on to number 6 on this list, which is the Korean Zombie. Okay? Versus Arnold Allen, otherwise known as Arnold Allen. Great matchup in the featherweight division. Two guys. I think Arnold Allen's number 6, number 5 right now. I was going to say Giga Chikadze, but they didn't move him up the rankings the way I thought they were going to move him up the rankings for beating Edson Barboza. I thought Chikadze was going to jump over Arnold Allen, jump over Josh Emmett, jump over Calvin Kattar, but no. So according to the rankings, this is a much better matchup. And also Arnold Allen said he wants to get back in there in December. Korean Zombie hasn't really mentioned Arnold Allen's name, but if you ask Korean Zombie, hey, who would you rather fight? I think he would assume Arnold Allen is a more approachable win than a fight with the Giga Chikadze right now, especially after Giga Chikadze's last performance. So, the Korean Zombie, Arnold Allen, December, November, late November, fight night main event. Let's get it on right now. 2 top featherweights, title implications on the line, title fight implications on the line, should I say. Maybe not, though. Maybe they have to take on another guy after this, and we actually have like a good title contender for once, which I don't think we've really had in 2021 or 2020 recently, but great stuff. The Korean Zombie, Arnold Allen, great matchup in the featherweight division. They're close to each other in the rankings. They're both coming off wins. Arnold Allen's called out the Korean Zombie. He wants that matchup next. He wants to come back at the end of the year. Same with the Korean Zombie. I think this is a great matchup. And for the Korean Zombie, it's the highest ranked guy coming off a win he can get in a division right now. Let's do that one in the featherweight division in November on a fight night main event. Maybe get a little bit of a UK situation going on. You've got Arnold Allen versus the Korean Zombie in the main event of like a early December fight night card. Then you've got Paddy Pimblett versus whatever his name is, Ignacio Bahamondes in the feature fight position, and Tom Aspinall Blagoy-Ivanov in the co-main event. You've got yourself a card right there. You're welcome, Sean Shelby. Moving on to number 5 of the greatest fights to make left in 2021, I believe it should be Joanna Jędrzejczyk, okay, the boogie woman herself is returning, versus Carla Esparza because she got absolutely molested by not being given a title shot against Rose Namajunas. I get it, yeah? I get it, Dana White. Taiwan was never your friend. I understand, okay? But, like, what the fuck did Zhang Weili do to earn a rematch? Nothing. Esparza's beaten Rose Namajunas. She beat her. Give her a fight. Why didn't they give her a title shot? Next best thing, in my opinion, is this fight to make. Joanna Jędrzejczyk says she's not fighting anyone outside of Namajunas or Zhang. Just shut up, Gaethje. I mean, Gaethje's recently signed with Chandler, but this is how I felt about Gaethje for the past fucking year. Shut up and get in there, you bint. Actually annoying me. Joanna Jędrzejczyk, Carla Esparza, title elimination bout, co-main event of a fight night, prelim headliner of a pay-per-view. Put it somewhere on a fucking card and let's just move on with the strawweight division. I'm sick of all these fucking whores. I'm not whores. I'm sick of these women not fighting in the top of the division. Joanna, your head must have stopped and it must have been deflated by now. Okay? I got a fucking paddling pool from when I was 6 in my fucking shit. That deflates quicker than apparently your forehead does. It's taken an entire fucking year. What's going on? Let's get Joanna Jędrzejczyk back in there versus Carla Esparza. Moving on to number 4 on my list, which is, chuck it off the screen, would you? Chuck it off. It's Miocic versus Derek Lewis. Good lord. December pay-per-view feature fight. Let's go. Let's just get it going. No more messing about, you know. Let's just get it on the cards. Stipe Miocic, Derek Lewis. I know Derek Lewis took a TKO loss against Cyril Gane, and you're going to say, how are you expecting Derek Lewis to turn around? Trust me, Derek Lewis is fine. He more gave up than he did get TKO'd to any real concussive damage. Stipe Miocic, Derek Lewis. Miocic is ready to get back in there. This is a fight for both of them that can really put them back right into a title shot position. If Derek Lewis wins and Ngannou wins, Lewis still has that win over Ngannou. They still haven't fought each other. That's still a fresh matchup between two great power punchers. If Miocic wins and Gane wins and Jones ain't coming into the heavyweight division yet, that's a title shot right there. Even against Ngannou, he's already beaten Ngannou once, 1-1. They could do the trilogy. He's beaten a guy in the meantime in Derek Lewis that was supposed to fight Ngannou. Let's make this fight. Let's get it going. They're both old as fuck. Let's get them in there as soon as possible to make a payday. Pay them both $1 million to show flat. Stipe Miocic, Derek Lewis on the pay-per-view card in December. Or even the main event of a fight night in December as well. Could also work late November maybe as well. That's what I want to see. Moving on. Number 3 in terms of fights to make left in 2021. Whip. Vicente Luque versus Nate Diaz. Vicente Luque versus Nate Diaz is another fight that can be made. This could be such a good last just under 4 months of a year if all of these fights can be added to these cards. Get it done. No one wants to fight in January. That's a very, very obvious thing. No one in their right mind who has a family at least, or even doesn't have a family, wants to fight in January. Because even people who don't have kids still have parents and uncles and cousins that they want to hang around with at Christmas and New Year's. Like, let's get all these guys in before the end of the year because no one's going to want to fight in January. And let's just do 3 cards in January and have Neil Magny main event or some shit like that. Let's pack out December. Vicente Luque, Nate Diaz, get it done. I'm sick of it, okay? That's the fight that I need to see. Nate Diaz already has called out Vicente Luque anyways. So that just makes the fight even easier to make because Nate Diaz rarely gives an idea of who he wants to take on next. So whenever he does give a little bit of a crumb of evidence, I think they should pounce on it. Luque versus Diaz. Moving on to number 2, and here's where things get raunchy. This is one of the best fights you can make in the entire UFC, regardless of left in 2021 or not. Let's get it done. Rob Font. Bantamweight division. Title elimination bout. Rob Font's name comes up. Title elimination bout. Straight up. Jose Aldo. Let's just go. Let's just get it. Let's just get it on. Main event of a fight night right there again. All of these main events I'm giving you, that's a main event number 2. Number 6 is a main event. Number 5 is a main event because of diversity and equality and all that stuff, but it's not really a main event, but it is kind of a main event because of how stunning and brave they are. This is a fucking main event in Lagos, Nigeria, you know what I mean? Like, this is great. Main event. This is a main event. This is a main event, but it won't be because they want to cash in on that pay-per-view shmoney, you know what I'm saying? This could be a main event of a fight night as well. This could be a main event of a fight night. Are you good? I'm doing your job for you here. This is easy work. Aldo, Rob Font, get it done. Promise him a title shot if they win. I know Corey Sandhagen is saying he only needs to win 1 fight before getting a title shot again. Shut up. I understand that I thought you won against TJ Dillashaw and it was a razor close fight, okay? But like, you don't just, I get 1 more fight. No. Whittaker had to do 3 more. He was a defending champion. You're doing 2 more fights. I don't give a fuck, okay? You're doing 2 more fights. You're fighting a random guy, whoever it's going to be in that division, and then you can take on the winner of Dominic Cruz versus Sean O'Malley early next year for a title shot. We'll see how things go. You know what I'm saying? Jose Aldo, Rob Font, amazing matchup in the bantamweight division. 1 condition, however. This must be 5 rounds. I have no interest in the Jose Aldo title fight if I don't see him go 5 rounds first. He's not going to finish Rob Font, which means it will go to the decision. If I can see Aldo, who looked good in the 3rd round against Pedro Munoz, let's not get it twisted. If I can see Aldo look good in rounds 4 and 5, now I'm intrigued about a Piotr Jan matchup. Maybe he'd beat Aljo anyway. But considering that Piotr Jan remains the best bantamweight in the world until Aldo gets another title shot, if he does, I want to see Aldo go 5 rounds. Moving on to number 1 on the list. I feel like you know what it's going to be. is going to fight for the title. It's Leon Edwards versus Max Griffin. No, I'm joking. It's Jorge Masvidal. Easy. You should have seen this one coming. It's just kind of how it is. That's what you have to do. Can we please make it? Masvidal. First of all, yeah, Masvidal has changed, okay? Let me just get this out from under my skin on this podcast. On this video. Masvidal with his fucking white coat on and his jewellery and his sunglasses, yeah? Shut up calling out Nate Diaz. Shut up calling out Nate Diaz. That does nothing for you getting a title shot. Take on Leon Edwards immediately, or there will be consequences. Leon Edwards, Jorge Masvidal, also on the pay-per-view at the end of the year in December. You could do two. Look at these fights. You could do 2 pay-per-views in fucking December. And no one's getting any Christmas presents because they're all going to be skint. Actually, if they have a brain, they won't be, but we'll leave that to others to figure out. Streamy. Either way, Leon Edwards, Jorge Masvidal, great fight to make at the end of this year. Look at those fights, man. That fills up with like okay to decent undercard fights. This is 3 whole cards, in my opinion. 4 of them represent a pay-per-view card with whatever else you want to put on it underneath. And then 3 each for for another card as well. And then you've even got, is that the correct maths? Yeah, that is the correct maths, 10. Okay. Well, there you go. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that button up there. 2-door pip. I'll see you later. 4 for a pay-per-view card. 3 for a fight night. 3 for another fight night. December is covered. 2-door Pippington. Goodbye.